Hey, Autumn Athletes, Larry Sorensen here, and today I'm going to connect with Chris Wheeler and find out what makes her an Autumn Athlete that's not done yet. Remember, if you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications, and don't forget to visit automathletesndy.com. All right, Chris, thanks so much for joining us today. I'd
My
like to
pleasure.
kick us off here with a little introduction.
My name's Chris Wheeler. I'm 59 years old. I started running track in high school and I finally have the opportunity to do it again. I'm a stay-at-home housekeeper. I take care of the house and the yard and I run track. And that's what I love doing now. I have four grown children and I'm married to my husband. We've been together 20 years, but we've been married only a year and a half.
All right, well, great to meet you. Well, we're going to talk about your track and field experience that you're participating in now, but first we want to get a little bit of history on you. So, you mentioned track and field in high school. Tell us a little bit about your athletic experiences back then, and then maybe even into, I believe you're in the military and you did some things in the 90s. So, kind of fill us in on those different activities that you participated in as a younger person until you got involved with Masters Track and Field.
In seventh grade, I went out for track with all my friends. After 3 days, all my friends quit, and I wanted to quit too, and my parents would not let me. And when I was a senior in high school, I actually did like a speech for a class and thanked my parents for not letting me quit. And so I went on to be a track star in high school. I did really well. I grew up in a really small town in Michigan, Middleville, and we were Class C. I don't know how it is in other states, but not a really big school. But I did really well. I mean, I've got a jacket full of medals, and I wanted to run in college. So I ran my first year at Grand Valley State. They didn't have an organized program because they're not, known for their women's track team or any track team. So one of the football coaches took over the women's track team. I liked him and everything, but it was really unorganized. So I didn't continue it after that. Then after I graduated from college, I went into the Marine Corps and I just excelled at my fitness, any PT, any event I wanted to do, all the running and the climbing and the jumping. I just really loved all of that kind of stuff. And I used to compete in all the military competitions I could possibly get into. And everybody knew me as a PT monster. And PT stands for physical training in the military. So after that, I did some competitive bodybuilding. When I was 14, I saw a documentary with Bev Francis and Rachel McLish and Corey Everson, all that, called Pumping Iron to the Women. I was 14, so it was like 1980. And I just remember thinking, I want to look like that. So I started lifting weights when I was 15, just to be stronger for my track. And I also played a little volleyball my senior year, cross country, just things to keep in shape for track. Because that was all my real focus was. I didn't even ski my senior year, and I loved to downhill ski. I didn't even ski because I didn't want to get hurt for track. But after I got out of the Marine Corps, I decided to try some bodybuilding. I always wanted to do it. It didn't, I did two competitions, and, I thought, I don't like this as much as I thought it would, because I'm used to whoever crosses the finish first, whoever throws it the farthest, jumps the highest or longest, are the winner. A bodybuilding competition is basically a beauty contest. And I know a lot of people come at me for that, but it's very subjective. They have judges. So, people even came up to me after my first competition when I ran. I didn't win the overall. I won my weight class, which was heavyweight. People were saying, you got screwed, man. It's because they didn't know me. I was a newcomer. So they said it was a popularity contest. So after the second competition, I said, that's enough. And it took like 2 years for my body to get back to normal. And then after that, I started working the casino business. I ended up getting really bad into my alcoholism. I almost destroyed my life with it. In 2010, my mom came down here and brought me home to Michigan. And the next course of 3 years actually, I ended up in jail. That's how I got sober. And I don't regret it for a minute, because the experience I had in jail was not the worst experience of my life. It's not something I want to do again, but it got me sober, and it kept me sober because I was on drug court and I had accountability. And my mother always hated that it was called drug court because I wasn't on drugs. I was just a boozer. And, but that doesn't make it any better. But yeah, so since 2011, I got sober January 1st, 2011, and it's not a New Year's resolution. It's because I was in jail. So I spent 4 months in jail, got released on drug court. And, I've been clawing my way back to my life for the last almost 15 years. But the last 3 years have been fabulous. I did it. I muddled through and got my life. I don't want to say I got my life back because I never had it to begin with, but my life is so much better now that I'm sober and healthy. The way my health and fitness came back. As soon as I got out of jail, I was like, I got to do something or I'm going to eat in place of drinking. So I started running again and I ran miles. And that was always my go-to: pair of shoes, get a good pair of shoes and go running. So that was in my mid 40s. By the time I was 50, my body changed again. And I started working in a high labor type job, which I really like, in a warehouse doing, home improvement stuff. But then after my mom, I went to Michigan in 2021 to take care of my mom because she finally called me and said, it's time for you to come home. Because I always told her I would come home and take care of her. So I spent a year taking care of my mom, and she died in 2022. And because my parents were very wonderful parents and good business people and very generous, I had a little inheritance. So that gave me the freedom to stay at home and be a homemaker. My husband's very supportive of that. He loves that I do everything in the house. So I started, after my mom died, I was doing my own thing at home with my elliptical machine and YouTube Pilates. And I would, see people running masters track. I'm like, oh, I'll never, they're way out of my league. I could never do that. And then I joined Burn Boot Camp, and I'm not trying to plug Burn Boot Camp, but it works for me because it's the kind of workout program that is very effective for what I'm trying to do. And right now I don't do the weight training anymore. My shoulders are just wrecked. Now I'm just concentrating on track. So one day, I got back to the leanness from Burn Boot Camp that I was when I was 28. I look like I did when I was 28, but with old lady skin, all the crepey and my muscles are there. Because it was all about the aesthetics for me when I was younger. I wanted to look like a fitness goddess. I didn't care if I couldn't run across the street. I just want to look like it. But to look like a fitness goddess, you got to really put the work in. So I feel really great. I'm great with I'm 59. Next year, I'll be in another age group. But anyway, back to track. So I thought, well, why not? Why not try? One of my sons is actually an Olympic athlete. His name's Sam Kendricks. He's a pole vaulter. He won the silver in the last Olympics. So I'm like, crap. I have good genetics for this. So I ordered on Amazon. I ordered hurdles. I only ordered 5. I was like, I want to make sure I can do it still. And I ordered a portable discus ring, and it just went from there. And so I started training at the end of January of this year. And I set my goals for July 17th through the 20th, the Masters Outdoor Championship. And I trained for 6 months. I tracked everything on videos, and I had no idea what the competition would be like. I didn't want to know. So the day before I was to leave for the meet, my husband had a stroke and was emergency lifted to surgery. Came out of surgery and they couldn't get the clot out of his head, and he was in really bad shape. All of his family was there, and I went up to him and I said, do you want me to stay? And he said, no, I want you to go. He's been training for this for 6 months. I want you to go. So I went, and I have friends in Huntsville from the Marine Corps. And so I stayed with them, and I got a first, a second, and a third. I was competitive. And then, so from then I'm like, I'm a master's athlete. I told my youngest son, JJ, the bodybuilder, I said, when people ask you what your mom, because he and I are really close because I'm the only person in his life and our family anyway, that understands what he's doing. He's a bodybuilder now. I mean, he's a Marine Corps veteran like I am, and now he's competing in bodybuilding. Killed it. His first show, his second show is coming up. But so I said, if anybody asks, what does your mom do? She's a master's track athlete. I was waiting for someone to say, what do you do for a living? Oh, well, actually, I do. I'm a homemaker and a master's athlete. Because someone asked me one day, why do you look like that? Because I'm a master's athlete. So that's my identity now. I'm a master's track athlete.
Obviously having a good time with this, and there's no end in sight for you. So, but what are you training for now? Do you have another meet in your sights? And also, what events do you compete in?
I run what they call the long hurdles and the short hurdles. So when I was in high school, I ran the 100-meter hurdles. So my age group, 54 to 59, run the 80-meter hurdles. And when I found that out, I was so glad. And So I ran the 80-meter hurdles and I ran a terrible race. I did not run my own race. I stumbled out of the blocks, messed up my steps. I was just calling it the L for the day. I just left and went shopping with my friend because I only had that one event. And I ended up and then at the end of the thing, I got second in the long hurdles and I got first in the discus. And I had, just like in high school, I had to run back and forth from the discus to the 300-meter hurdles. It was 110 hurdles in high school. 300-meter hurdles, changing shoes to throw, go run. I only got 2 throws and I freaking nailed it. So I threw 93 feet. My personal best in high school was 114. Now, I actually got third in the GLIAC in college in discus. I forgot about that. So I threw the exact 114 9 inches in high school and in college. The weirdest thing. Never went any farther. But I went out there and chunked it 93 feet. I had no idea. I thought maybe 75. 93 feet, and I got first place. And then I went to get my medals, and they handed me a third place for the 80-meter hurdles. So I'm like, yay. So that was great. That just gave me the boost of confidence I needed to keep going. So February is the indoor Masters National Championships. It's in New Mexico, Albuquerque. So I'm planning to go to that. But the only one of my events, because indoor, of course, they don't throw the discus or any of the hammers and javelins and all that. But they have, the 60-meter hurdles. That's the only event of mine that they would have. So instead of that expense of going all the way there for 60-meter hurdles, I'm going to run the pentathlon because the 60-meter hurdles is in it. 800 run, half mile. I do that all the time. Just got to get it out, just like I do 300-meter hurdles, because I don't train for that. I just run it. Now I've learned a lot being a senior athlete. I've had to make a lot of adjustments in how I train and how I recover. But the only thing I've never long jumped. I mean, I've long jumped and high jumped. I used to do both of those. Didn't like either one of them. When I long jumped, I was just the only one that we had. That I was actually the best that we had, which wasn't very good. But I know how to do them. The only thing I don't know how to do is a shot put. So I bought a shot put and I actually got recognized at the Huntsville meet. This other girl on TikTok who throws discus, her name's Jasmine Porter, and she recognized me at the meet. And I was like, oh, yeah, I follow you too. So she's going to teach me. She said she'd teach me how to throw the shot put. So that's what I'm planning next February, the indoor championships, running the pentathlon. And if it's allowed, I don't know if it's allowed, I'm also going to run the 60-meter hurdles.
What was your training regimen for these last 6 months, and what is it now looking forward to this next track meet?
I continued to go to burn boot camp for my training, and then I would go to the track. There's a public track about a half hour from where I live, and they even had a discus ring on it. So I would go there 1 to 2 times a week, and sometimes one time I had to take like 3 weeks off because of injuries. I pulled my quad the first day I tried my new starting blocks. I hurt my hip trying to work out in the house with my hurdles. So I've had some setbacks, but nothing permanent or serious. But I've learned a lot about training as an older person, a lot of recovery. I don't have to train as hard. Like right now, I'm just doing conditioning workouts at burn boot camp. I drop the weights. My shoulders are wrecked. Every time I lift weights, it just hurts. I'm just sore for so long. So I thought, I don't need it. So I've been conditioning at burn boot camp. I have bought what I'm trying to do now is get faster without actually sprinting. So I've got a box jump box and jump ropes, and I've got I do a lot of stretching and stuff in my carport. But that's what I'm doing now. I got out on the discus ring the other day. It felt pretty good. But I don't think I'm going to practice the hurdles until it's close to the meet, because I'm telling you, it hurts. It hurts to run that race. My mother-in-law was so funny because she's like, well, what about your hips? And I said, oh, yeah, they're still hurt. She goes, what about when you run? I said, they hurt. It hurts. Sometimes athletes, we work through the pain. That's what we do. So yeah.
You're doing the training, putting the work in. You also have to feel your body. So this is kind of a 2-part question, because one, I want to know specifically, what's your diet and nutrition, but then you also do something online in that area. So I want you to tell us a little bit about that as well.
I've always been interested in nutrition and fitness. And so I'm finally at the point in my life where I can buy the healthy groceries and I have the time to prepare the meals. So I stopped eating meat in 2023, I think January 1st, I didn't eat any more meat. So I haven't eaten meat in a few years. The only one I eat is fish, and I eat eggs and dairy. I'm no big, but I just don't. First of all, meat was too expensive. That's why I quit eating it. But now I have a YouTube channel I started called Slim Kitchens. I haven't put anything out on it in a long time. I moved on to track. I lost interest in Slim Kitchens, but it's still there. I'm going to do more. And so I showed the different weird, healthy things that I come up with. My goal is to make something really good for you taste good. Like people who don't like say they don't like healthy foods, because I live in the South, and people, the way they eat down here is very different than what I did growing up. But anyway, now I've adopted more of a Mediterranean diet. In fact, I bought a Greek cookbook, and that's basically, I've tried to stock my kitchen like a Greek kitchen, and that's what I basically eat now, is a Mediterranean diet. Mm-hmm. No meat. And I also, what works for me, I would not recommend this for anyone else, because you have to find what works for you. I used to be a fitness trainer, and I would always get, how long will it take me to look like you? I said, well, first of all, you're never going to look like me. I'm twice as tall as you are, but you've got to change your whole lifestyle for the eating habits. And it just, doing a little bit for a short amount of time isn't going to do it. I kind of don't eat all day. I know people, that's not wrong, but that's what works for me. I kind of fast all day, and then I eat in the evenings, and that'll work until it doesn't. So, I'm not super regimented to that, but that's what works for me. So I'm a firm believer in, I know it takes time, and you got to be patient, but you got to find what works for you.
All right. So if you could kind of bottle your secret sauce to health and fitness, what would the ingredients to that recipe be?
I mean, if it comes to nutrition, one thing I've noticed is I wish I could teach people how to just be hungry. Just because you feel hungry doesn't mean you immediately have to feed yourself. I mean, learn how to live with your hunger for a minute, and think about something else. Drink some water. I don't know. I think I've noticed that people, well, I'm hungry, and they just grab anything to eat. I'm surprised at how many people live on fast food. I wasn't a big fast food eater through my adult years, because I was that 1980s chick that just wanted to be skinny and tan. I stressed about every mouthful of food I put in my mouth for 30 years. And it's still, it's still a mind crush. And you've got to, it takes time. That's the other thing. People think they want it overnight, and you got to be patient. You got to find what works for you, and you got to learn how to be hungry. And as far as being an athlete, if you're healthy enough to pursue your goals as an athlete, as a senior person, older, just do it. I mean, the muscle memory is incredible. The fact that when I went out there and started running the hurdles, and I did it just like it looks the same. The pictures from high school and the pictures now, same form, same everything. So the hardest thing is getting started. So I've had to get started so many times in my life. I have been out of shape and felt miserable, and I got to get it. I mean, when I was drunk, I was a mess. I was bloated and awful, but it's just the first step. Getting started is the most important thing.
What would be your advice to someone that is trying to get started? Did you have any specific, tricks, if you will, that you would like to share with people to get started, whether it's, athletics or some of the other issues that you've talked about?
In my case, it was equipment, because, it's not like basketball. You just get a hoop and a basketball. I went and bought the equipment because I had the resources to do so, and I found a place to practice. If I don't know what other sports are like, but I just looked it up. I said, master's track and field, found what I needed to do. And I'm very untechnology. The fact that I figured it, I had to do it my own. Nobody's going to do it for me. I figured it out, master's track and field. And I tracked that down, bought some hurdles, just started practicing. I found a place I guess there's no secret to it. You've just got to decide to do it, because one thing I've learned in this life, nobody helps me. I'm not that kind of woman where everyone says, oh, well, let me help you do this. Oh, you're so cute, I'll help. No, I'm a big old woman. Nobody's ever wanted to help me. So I just did it. I've gotten used to doing things myself. So that's what I did. I just went out and said, well, okay, I can buy the hurdles, I can buy the discus. I'm going to start practicing. Some people don't have those resources. Maybe they have a high school that'll let them practice. I don't have that down here. It's just, it's not that easy to walk up to someone during track practice and say, hey, can I use your track?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I just made it work for myself, and I hope that's helpful, but probably isn't.
That's all good. All right. So at 59, what would you say is the motivation that you have here to really push forward?
Oh, that I was successful. The fact that I did okay. I got a little patch that says national champion, masters track and field. I'm a national champion. That's why I'm going to keep going. And maybe someday, I don't know, my son, the pole vaulter, and I can do something. I don't know. It's just I'm all excited because there is a future. I saw women at that Huntsville track meet, 75 years old, doing the hurdles. They weren't really running them, but they were doing them. That's goals, man. You don't have to sit back and be old. If you don't feel good, try and feel better. It's just getting started. I wish I could just say the hardest part is that getting started.
All right. Well, Chris, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today to let us know what makes you an autumn athlete that's not done yet. I'd like to wrap up by giving you the floor to give us some final thoughts.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that you asked me to do this, because I do want the. I feel like I'm a good influence to women my age. I have baggage. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I have 2 failed marriages in my past. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can make you sit back and say, oh, I guess I'm just done. But when you find something you're passionate about, something you used to be, I was passionate about track. I wanted to be in the Olympics. Now I might actually be able to qualify for the Senior Olympics. So don't just sit back and be old. If you can do it, I'm proof of it. You can do it. No matter what screw ups you've done in your life, if you want to be successful, it's all mindset. It really is.
Well, there you go, folks. Chris Wheeler. She is definitely an autumn athlete that's not done yet. Remember, keep moving, set your own goals, and train hard to achieve them. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.